History. Those who ignore it tend to repeat it. Everyday KT 410, that's what we're talking about today. History and symbolism. Someone posted something online that I saw today that made me think. Today's interpretation of symbols, of meanings of things, is wildly different than what maybe that symbol was intended for. Take the swastika, for instance. Most people see that today. First thing they think of is Nazi Germany. They think of racism. They think of hatred. They think of all manner of bad things. Thing is, there's an awful lot of cultures that came along a long time before the Nazis ever did, where the swastika is a symbol of all manner of good things. You have several Asian cultures, several Native American cultures. You have cultures all over the world where they have a version of the swastika, and all of them mean good things. But one group says, "Hey, I like that. I like the way that thing looks. We're going to take that." What if I told you that there were a few groups, which were hate groups of sorts, that tried to appropriate the kilt as their symbol? What would you say? It's like, oh, you're going to up and give up the kilt? Every time you see the kilt, you're going to say, oh, that guy's a racist, that girl's a racist, or they hate people, or they hate this, or they whatever. Because all of a sudden some group says, oh, that's going to represent what we do. All throughout history, groups who have a specific agenda have tried to take control over symbols, over things that represent all kinds of other things. Trying to take those symbols and create a new meaning of what that symbol is. So next time you take, well, think of it from this way: the stars, Confederate flag from the South. I'm not sure, but that looks like, well, I don't know. God only knows what it is. But you know what? It's red, white, and blue, the stars. Does it mean racism? No. Does it mean anything? It's a flag representing a group. Cultures today, people today, think that it means all manner of bad things. But does it really mean that stuff? Or is it what people have just attributed to that symbol? You know, the swastika, everybody's like, oh, bad. Confederate flag, everybody's like, oh, bad. Just because things happened, does that mean that I'm doing the same things that the people who did, as the people who created those symbols? Probably not. I have a Tibetan mala hanging from my mirror in my truck. At the bottom, there is a hand-carved swastika. Does that mean that I'm a Nazi? Does that mean that I hate everybody that's not blonde, blue-haired, and from somewhere in the middle of Europe? No. It's a Tibetan necklace. It has nothing to do with racism. It has nothing to do with the Nazis. It has nothing to do with exterminating people in massive quantities. Nothing at all. But it's the same symbol. So when now you're out in the world and you see these symbols, these things that represent or are supposed to represent a specific thing, specific idea, specific group, make sure you do your research. Make sure you understand exactly what that actually is for, what it means, what it's being used for. There are lots of cultures who have had most of the symbols that we see every day and have been using them for generations, hundreds of years, if not thousands. And guess what? They were not originally meant to mean all of these nasty, horrible, evil, mean things. Somebody just got a wild hair and says, ooh, I like the way that looks. I'm taking that to represent my group, my ideas, my philosophy, my beliefs. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I'll tell you one thing. Some groups, somebody walks up and says, oh, you're wearing a kilt. You must be a Nazi. Or you must be a racist. Or you must be hate. You must be hatred. You must be evil. You must be something. I'm like, really? Last I checked, this is a piece of clothing. That's it. It's clothes. So think about that. Think hard. Because like I said in the beginning, wise men once said, he who ignores history tends to repeat it. And last I checked, a lot of bad things have happened in history repeatedly because people have ignored what has come before them. So tomorrow's Monday. Make sure you've got plenty of coffee. Make it a badass day. Make it an amazing day. Because you want it to be, and you're going to make it amazing. And as always, be strong. Put a kilt on.